All right, so we are live on the air and ready for another week of reviewing your landing pages. So I am Josh Ledgard, co-founder of Kickoff Labs, and with me today I have Izzy. If you want to introduce yourself, Izzy.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining today's webinar. And we're going to be reviewing some of your pages, helping you guys improve your conversion rate and helping you get the most out of your landing pages and websites.
All right, I'm posting a little notice in the chat saying for people that are there to press play on the video if they haven't already, so they can start seeing the video and the feedback when we share the screen. I notice we've got a bunch of people here. The way this works is typically we ask for submissions ahead of time. It gives us a chance to kind of look through some of the pages, and we're still giving you very much our first impressions, but it gives us a chance to make sure we've got slots filled up and good pages for you to review. But if you're attending the chat, we tend to like to prioritize folks who are in attendance because it gives a chance to interact and ask some questions. So if you're on the chat or you're just watching this and you want to make sure that we get to your page, join the chat below, post an introduction for yourself, for your business, and repost the URL that you submitted so we can make sure we get to it. A lot of them I've noticed we're already in our queue, people that are in the chat, so that's good. We're going to get to a lot of those pages today. The other thing I'll mention is, these are looking at the landing pages, and we get a chance to ask a few questions back and forth. But we're focused on once somebody's gotten to the page. If you want to get together with us, and we do offer private consulting to look at campaigns more deeply. There's a whole lot more we can get into that involves figuring out the context of people that come to the page. And so what you're getting is the assumption that somebody blind lands on the page and is looking at the landing page details. So we're trying to focus on the lowest hanging fruit of things we could do to improve conversion based on what we know and what we've seen with our existing customers. So again. I'm Josh Ledgard. Our company is Kickoff Labs, so we do landing pages and opt-in forms. Our goal is to get people more leads, so we're really focused on converting visitors into email addresses and giving you more information so you can make smarter campaigns. All right, with that introduction, I'm going to go right into to Khalid's page. I'm going to share my screen. And while I'm doing this, Khalid, if you could post maybe in the chat a little bit of a lengthier description of your business for people that are in the chat, and that'll also help give us some feedback on the page. So let's go and share the screen. All right, so you should now be seeing my screen shared on the Vidiyum page, and there were a few things I really loved about this page. I loved the simplicity of the page, and I'd say the fact there aren't very many colors on the page makes three things stand out. One, the logo up here, Vidiyum, and then two, importantly, the call to action colors, and your eyes are really drawn to those two things, and that's a good best practice. The other thing I love about the page is I'm assuming that you used a service. There's a service called Placeit, I believe, and placeit.com, and Izzy can check that for me while I'm talking. Allows you to create these kind of screenshots. So it looks like you took a screenshot of your app, and then you pasted it into this into the Placeit image. And then you've got this nice background image for the page, which has a teaser of the app shown on the screen. And there's a service that makes that really simple, and it works really well on a page like this where you want to tease the app within the context of an iPhone on the screen. And then the other thing about it is the phone flows to and from the form. So if you're looking at the form, your eyes flow to the teaser of the app down here on the screen. And if you're looking at the screen at the bottom where you've got where the video logo is, your eyes flow back up towards the form, and that's really visually pleasing and directs people's eyes towards what's important, which is the form. And so it looks like Khalid posted a better description here online. So Khalid says, basically we're working on a mobile app that redesigns the video chatting experience from desktop first to mobile first. We take video calls, split them into video messages, and add reactions to them. So send a message through video, capture the other person's reaction and their reply. All right. And so it's a video messaging service that's here, and there's video chat for that tagline on the page says video chat for a world on the go, and then the description text says no connection problems, no scheduling for a video call, just you and your conversations. And this is definitely a popular marketplace with all of the chat apps adding video, and recently you can record a quick video and audio on with most messaging apps now and send it out. And so the first thing that I would want to know about this is what customer is this for? You want to you've got this really generic thing, and it's hard to tell if you're B2C or B2B. Is this for businesses doing calls? And I sort of thought that it might, because of the way you say no scheduling for a video call, and scheduling a call is something that sounds to me very business focused. But on the other hand, there's no real indication that it's there's going to be business plans. There is for a business. The pictures on the phone are kind of like happy people chatting back and forth. So it could be consumer. I think I would personally want to really make that distinction clear, so you rule out an audience and you keep the other audience really engaged. So who specifically is the chat application for? And then Khalid adds and says the connection problem scheduling is, from his research, is what people complained about most. And so again, but if you know specifically and you've done the research, I would really think about taking those personas and making them very loud and clear on the page. That would be my first bit of feedback. Is just within the description and the tagline, make it clear which audience this is for, and who you're going to be targeting. And then the next thing is, above the form, there's not really an incentive or a call to action saying, join our email list or get the beta early. The page is really missing an incentive that should be there to get people to sign up, because right now you're just saying get invited, and really you could be saying you'll get early access, or the first 1,000 people get access. You can just pick a number or a goal. And just say say that, and then that'll be a motivation for people to sign up. And you can add, and this is a Kickoff Labs theme, so I know that you can add the text above and below the form here. So you can add some description text below the form in this location, or add text here or bold a line here that has an incentive for why people should sign up on the page. Cletus clarifies it's for consumer use. Yeah, I mean it's. Maybe I'm just being a business. I thought it was going to be I thought it might be for business use, but then using the words like for your friends and family, something that makes it obvious that you're really for the people there, really for that particular person. It can be really simple that way. So then if I type my email address and I click get invited, I get the Kickoff Labs thank you, and it's a standard thank you message. So thanks for the interest. It's good to feel loved. Share this link. I think you have a real opportunity here, because you're talking about friends and family. Your app is going to work better for them if their friends and family are already on the app. And so really this thank you message should be, okay, you're in. You now get your friends and family on. If you get 3 friends on, then we'll do something else for you or something special for you. And so you need that second incentive here on the referral link. But especially for this type of app, I think you can really play on our app's going to be better when your friends are on it, because it's free, or because it's, the more people you have on, the more useful the app is. It's a really good opportunity to get people to use the sharing links. And if anybody hasn't used Kickoff Labs, wants to know, we specialize in doing this, and so this is a really personalized link. And so if somebody went and then they shared this on Twitter, for example, they'll get the share text that says, I just signed up for the private beta, the video map, and they can post this for their friends and family to sign up as well. And because the link is unique, we can actually track and show you who's gotten you the most signups. And so it's a really good reason I mention this, only because people tend to stop at that first conversion and they say, well, I've got the email address, so what else should I do? And really, people should think through the second part of the conversion. You've got someone that's engaged, you've got someone that's signed up. Now what do? You want them to share. And so we try to make it really simple to click that sharing link and then share on social networks so that you can get additional referrals coming back to the page. And I think with this app especially, you've got a great call to action here because it is specifically an app that would require that is best with friends and family here. I think I covered most of this. Izzy, I didn't know if you wanted to weigh in on this page before we moved on to the next one.
You covered just about all of all of the most important points, changing a little bit of the micro copy and just making sure that he's 100% sure who his customers are, and explain that on the page. I think he'll get a lot more signups that way.
Great. Okay. So I saw somebody posted a link for this one. So if I'm still sharing my screen, you should be able to see it. Autobot Factory. I was personally, having been a fan of Transformers growing up, I sort of enjoyed the name Autobot. So I knew I wanted to get to this one. Izzy, do you wanna start out the review of this one with your feedback?
Sure. Let's go ahead and start off with my feedback. Keep in mind that this is the very first time that I'm looking at this page, and I should be sharing my screen. Josh, can you confirm that you can see the Autobot Factory?
Yes, I can see the Autobot Factory.
Okay, so I'll get into my ideas of the Autobot robots and stuff like that, because it says Autobots and it looks like I'm looking at R2-D2 here, and it looks like I'm looking at another kind of robot here. So maybe just looking at your branding, kind of focus on creating like a singular logo, a single kind of like brand image as well. Looking at the page, I really like how there's a huge call to action. This is really nice. The background is actually very nice looking as well. Let bots do the work. However, this headline, this first little tagline here, let bots do the work. If someone explains to me what it does, why not save your precious time by automating your work? Okay, it still doesn't explain to me what kind of work I can automate. I mean, there's tons of work that I can outsource or that I can try to automate, but I would need to get a better explanation of what the service is here immediately in order for me to be driven to click on the button that says watch our 1-minute video, because 1-minute video, I mean, that's an awful long time to explain to people, but you're not going to get too many people clicking on this page before before giving them a little bit more information. And I'm noticing that there's a call to action on the pop-up window, which is something a little odd. Okay, takes me to a Fiverr order page. This pop-up window, this is something that I really haven't seen too much of, which is an informative video with a button here. I'm not sure if I like it or not. It's new to me, but you never know. I mean, looking at your conversions, if you're getting a decent conversion rate from having this button here, I think it's a great strategy to do. It's a great way to get people to take action. But like I said, just in case you're not getting people clicking on this button here, you might get some people scrolling. You're already talking about price, and well, not necessarily money, like the monetary amount, but you're mentioning price, and you're saying instant support and even delivery. Debug any problem live. There's not really a clear explanation of what this gig includes. Now I know that it's a gig for Fiverr, because it's saying, okay, who can hire this gig? maybe even just like saying here, just straight out right away, the most awesome work automation gig on Fiverr. Just making it 100% clear that this is about a product that you're trying to sell that only costs a person $5, which is very small amount of money. So I like the page, but maybe explaining a little bit more at the very top about what's going on, about about possibly what could be included in the service, because this is a very broad uh, uh, broad comment here. You know, save your work by automating. I'm sorry, save your time by automating. So I think that's kind of like my main feedback. Looking here as well, if I scroll all the way down, I'll finally see a small little subscribe button, which is probably something that I might want to be pushing a little bit more at the top, because thinking about the sales, you can drive somebody to make the $5 sale, which really shouldn't be too hard to do. I mean, $5 isn't too much; it's not a big deal. But if you're kind of focusing on collecting people's email address first, that way you can follow up with more information later. You can follow up maybe with a free guide on how to automate your work, how to outsource your work, just providing free information later on via email. So focusing on collecting that email first, and then sending offers later on, because I believe it would be much more beneficial to your business if you can make multiple sales of $5 to the same client as opposed to just one sale right away. So focus on getting the email address, changing up some of the headline text, making it a little bit more clear on what's going on with the page, who it's for, and exactly what you get. Josh, would you like to jump in?
Yeah, thanks, Izzy. I had some additional feedback too. I think part of the fun of this is we might have some different views of it. I absolutely agree. I hadn't thought about the branding being simpler and unified. I did really like the background image as well here on the page, and I really liked how there was a big call to action. But I actually felt that because the video is only 1 minute, I would change things around a bit. So I would take this text and this giant call to action button, I would move it over to the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, I would just put the video with the play button there. It's only 1 minute, and so you're making people pop up to see the video and then having the second call to action there. Everything on the page, I think you could simplify a bit, and there's room for it without making the page too long for just having the video directly. And then if it's 1 minute, you could experiment with auto playing the video when people are on there, because you're talking about a really small sale. So this video that explains it, a headline that does a little better job about automate your work, and a sub-headline that says exactly what you do and what you're going to do, and then the call to action that says buy now. And I think you'll get a lot of people buying right because of your price point, or buy now only $5. You don't have to hide the price because it's $5. If you were talking about something that was several $1,000s, I think then it's appropriate to make people go watching the video and then go do something else. But when you're talking about a price point below $100, I wouldn't hide the price, and I think it's actually better to call out the price, because when you hide the price, it always makes me think, if I have to ask how much it costs, I don't want to know, is the saying. And I think you might scare off business as opposed to just being more direct. And then the rest of the page is okay, like what are you going to get? If you explain what you get in 1 or 2 lines below this big headline here, then this would make a lot more sense. And this is that button I was talking about. So buy this gig now, starting at just $5. I would put that right near the top. The customer quote, I think I would put closer to the top as well, because it's social proof, and I wouldn't put it down so low. And then, like Izzy said, I would think about how you make this more enticing for people to join your newsletter rather than just subscribing. Instead of saying for more updates, focus on the discount. Join our newsletter for regular discounts on what, and be really specific about why they should join your newsletter and what you send discounts for. And I think that would help. And that's the rest of my feedback on this page. And so let me go. So now Silverlit Homes. I believe I had this one lined up, but let me just go and bring it back up in my browser. So said Silverlit Home said they submitted this. I'm trying to learn how to write a headline, so I'm at a very basic stage for the page. So a couple things right off the bat. If you're looking at this, for better or worse. So within the first page, it's really you have the email and the call to action. It does seem to be the call to action. And you're hiding something behind it. You're saying request pricing and see full albums. I might switch that copy up. So I know you're just working on this page. So I might think about, instead of request pricing, think about the advantage of having people see a demo album or see examples first, and then the request pricing second. So it's a small but subtle change where you're focusing on maybe something they want to see before they see how much it's going to cost. And then the other thing about the page is I would think about where it says what makes the perfect wedding photographer. I really do like that headline. I feel like some of this text could be a little bit bigger. It's probably size 12 or 13. I feel like if especially when you've got text on top of the blurred background, you can see how easy this is to read at this size. You need to make this text larger, and that might mean cutting down some of the text in the top so that you're not pushing this area down too far on the page. And then if you hire me as your wedding photographer, I can absolutely guarantee. So you can shorten that up. Say, hire me as your wedding photographer. I'll guarantee, and then you could use larger font here. And then I would say. These are probably, without knowing your business, things that you've heard people say is they're worried their photos aren't going to turn out great. So you're trying to address the fears right away. And so I think that's actually a really good thing to focus on addressing people's fears. You'll love the photos, you'll feel comfortable working with me, and you'll have a beautiful album to cherish for the rest of your life. I think you could probably stand for maybe a shorter third one bullet in here. This beautiful album you cherish for the rest of your life. I really like the line because I think it would speak to people. I would think about taking that beautiful album that you cherish for the rest of your life and putting that above this call to action because then it relates directly to this of see an example of an album that somebody cherishes. Because if you take this line of cherish for the rest of your life and you have that up here above this call to action, then the call to action makes sense in here of what you're trying to do. And then the button, instead of go, should probably say something like get album or get sample album in the button. And then you might need, like below it, you might think about text or maybe some additional copy or something you might want to send out as well, like a discount. If you sign up, I'll give you a discount on your album or something, because you really do want to focus, and you've got the right idea. You want to focus on capturing people's email address. The other thing for a business like this that I would do is I would take this upper right-hand corner, and you've got an email address here. I might just use like a button that says contact me, and then I might also put the phone number up here, because it's the kind of business where people might want to follow up with getting a phone number with a phone call. Because you said you're just starting, I'm not going to spend too much time on the rest of the page. I mean, I think it's well laid out. You've got a gallery of photos that you'll want to put up. Obviously, these are just demo photos. I think they're not what you're actually photos you've taken at weddings. Eventually, they will be. And then you've got things that you'll send people. I would say an opportunity on a page like this is and this is a good opportunity. Instead of saying here's what I'll do for you, it should say, you can think about this as education for people, like things you should expect from your wedding photographer. And then all of these things are things I deliver could be the subheadline. And then you're educating people and giving them some advice. Like you should expect, everyone to give you high-res images. You should expect someone to give you edits. So you want to set the high bar that you're living up to for your customers. And then you want to educate them so that when they go and they look around on other sites, because people are going to look around, they're going to browse for other wedding photographers, and they might, and you want them asking, well, are you going to give me 300 free edits? Are you going to give me the high-res images? Because you've spent the time to educate them on the page. And so that's my 2 cents. You sound like you wanted most of the feedback on the top of the page where you were starting, because you were just getting going. If you'd like, we could certainly have some templates and help you with the page at Kickoff Labs. Izzy, did you have anything that you wanted to mention?
Yes, actually, really quick. I just wanted to mention, looking at the copy and thinking, putting on my copywriter cap on, asking this question. I think it's a good question. What makes the perfect wedding photographer? Because you're actually setting the stage for the people, for preparing to educate wedding couples, couples that are going to be arriving on the page. But maybe you can probably experiment a little bit, test out the headline by instead of making it a question format, kind of just informing and telling them. Something that comes to mind is like the best quality photos for the most important day of your life, or something like that. Just making it super obvious that it's something very important to them. I mean, all wedding couples spend a ton of time looking for the best photographer. So just making it clear that it's their most important day of their life, and you're the best person to fulfill that need for them.
And
I also saw here at the bottom he has a testimonial section, and it says Matthew was incredible to work with. Okay, we just got our pictures back from Matthew, and at this point I don't know who Matthew is. So I would probably include, and I know Matthew is the photographer because it says it was great shooting with Matthew. So maybe including just a short, very short bio of yourself here with an image included, and that'll help explain who Matthew is, and maybe pictures of you with your clients, handing over their latest album or something. That would really help out the page, and that would really set you apart and help you make more sales here for wedding photography.
That's a really good point, Izzy. I think it ties into what Matthew is what they're saying on the page, is that they don't answer the question. I think that's a good opportunity to tie this question in the top to the answers that they gave below, with using some of those answers here, and taking some of the copy here and putting it above the request pricing and see albums area, because then they're starting to answer that. And then I would also, if it's a single person, I wouldn't shy away from that. I would have in the top right, contact Matthew, or more about Matthew, or something here that makes it more personal. Because at least for something like this, I think you're right. The copy hints at it being a really personal experience and working with somebody. I think you want to make that obvious, that you're an individual, you are the photographer, and that's one of the main selling points of your business here. Hopefully this was helpful. I'm going to move on to let's see. Somebody submitted, sticking with the photography theme, somebody submitted this site, Profoto Registry, because upselling is hard, as the previous customer might be able to attest. And so the first thing I saw about the page is it just felt like you were asking for, there's a lot going on up front on the page. So when I first come here, I noticed this logo is kind of cramped up in the corner. There's not much space around it. These are all off center a little bit, being up, they're not centered in this line, and they probably should be. But then there's several calls to action here. You've got this logo, you've got this button for features, a button for find, a button for join, and then a login here, and then this button. I guess this is go for the login. I don't know what the hand does or why it's important. And then you've got have a question, leave a message here. There's just way too many calls to action at the top of the page. Like you could simplify this login and password could just be a button that says, you know, existing customer login or something for folks. It doesn't have to have the form right up front. I'm not sure why you want people to click find just yet. Perhaps that could be something that's down lower on the page. It just there's a lot going on up front on this page. And there's not really a primary call to action. So if I'm looking at this page, all the colors are pretty much the same, and I see, you know, Profoto Registry. I see these things, but what do you want people to do on the page when they come to it? I can't tell. Do you want me to buy something? Do you want me to sign up for free? And I had to scroll. I looked at this page earlier. So now if I scroll down a little bit, I see this get started with a free account, sign up in 30 seconds, no credit card required, and you're asking for an email, a username, and a password. And then you've got the pricing down here. And I feel like this is a call to action button. Even if the form lives there, you need a button below this text here that says start free or sign up for a free account. Because maybe you have a larger screen than I do. I have an average sized screen here that you're looking at in terms of the vertical height, but you don't see the call to action. And because all of the colors are so monotone on the page, nothing stands out on the page, so you don't know where you're supposed to look. And you really want to make sure that people know where they're supposed to look on the page to get them to this free the free form here. Izzy, do you want to take some comments here?
Sure. Other than bringing up the CTA, because if you're looking at my screen, my screen is actually smaller than Josh's, and so the CTA gets pushed even farther down the screen. So make sure that it's a little bit higher up. This image here, there's just no point in having this image here. I would actually make this like a white color, put it against this blue background, so you just cut out all this white space here in the middle, or all this empty space here in the middle. And why Profoto Registry? Because upselling is hard. I mean, just explain who it's for, because to me, once I get here, I'm not sure if it's for photographers. Now I know that it is, because whether you shoot, just make sure that it's 100% clear who it's for, what they can do here, because all you're saying is I can get more sales. Okay, obviously everybody wants to get more sales. Happier clients, also everybody wants that. Better bottom line. This ties in with the more sales. So just explaining what exactly can I do here. There's a lot of services that cater to professional photographers. There's a really good one that doesn't come to mind off the top of my head. I'll post it in right now a little bit in the chat. But go ahead and take a look at their page and see how they're tying in a little bit more of the photo of the Profoto market. And they're making it very obvious, because here I don't even see any photos on the page, and it's supposedly a site for photographers. So those are the changes that I would make, Josh.
Yeah, and I think you're right on it to look at the copy there too. I wasn't really saying anything about the copy. I was just sort of looking at the visual elements on the page, and I think the key points you mentioned earlier for the video map is really thinking about who your copy is for, narrowing that down a bit, and when you narrow it down, you'll actually start to get people that opt in more. If they know that it's for them, you'll have a better job of capturing those people who it's for, rather than how the page is there. So then now we got a submission during the chat, ta.io. So I'm going to actually pull up that page.
And real quick, actually, the other company that I was talking about is called SmugMug. SmugMug.com. I'll post a link.
All right. So the first thing, just visually on a page, really focused on the video here. And there's a short video. It's less than 2 minutes, and that's obviously the goal of the page, is to get you to watch the video. But I would think about a couple things about this. I still like having the headline when you have a video-focused page, and maybe making this even larger so people know what it is, with maybe a second line below that teases the video, like see how cool it is, or see how this works from your phone, or watch our demo. And then the other thing is I might think about the screenshot that's used here, because this is a very sparse thing of a circuit board, and your messages control anything from your smartphone. So you're just kind of scanning the video. A screenshot like this, pause the video here. Let me try and find the right location. So yeah, there's this part of the video, or several parts of the video, where it actually shows somebody controlling something with the phone. So you've got a phone, and then they're controlling something. I would think about using that as the screenshot that you use. And I know that's a setting. So you're hosting the video in Vimeo. And I know there's a setting to let you scan the video and pick a better screen grab for the intro frame. And I would think about that, because it gets more to, it backs up the headline. So then you'll have a headline up here, a teaser to the video, then the image, even if I decide not to watch the video, will tell me what it is. And that's really part of the goal of that teaser for the video, is you should imagine people might not watch the video, and so that that image that was there, that showed just the circuit board, doesn't entice people to watch it. I mean, it's a nifty image, and it's something you can talk about later. But I would think about how you I would think about tying the image into to the headline you have up here. The next thing is there's not really a call to action below the video. So once somebody has watched the video, imagine that somebody comes here, they do what you want, which is they press play, they watch it for 2 minutes. The very next thing on the page should be what you want them to do. And there should be something here, if that's to sign up, if that's to buy, it should be the very next thing they see, because imagine that they just watched the video. Great, I'm sold. Now what? You've got this tiny highlighted buy now button, so I assume that's your call to action that you want to push. That should be, you've seen the video, buy it now, like a button down below here. And then I see, like, if I didn't watch the video, I can get some more information. The page is nice. The menu stays up here, which is really nice. It's a Bluetooth device that connects to your smartphone. You're obviously targeting people who are more technology savvy than your average customer, because you're talking about Arduino compatible and Bluetooth 4. It's just a note, if you're thinking about targeting that group, and because you want developers and you want the SDK, really home in on that group, about this is something that's flexible, this is something that you can control, this is something that you can do on the page. Because you want to make sure, if you're not targeting consumers at this point, you really make it obvious that maybe it's not for them. So our crowdfunding campaign is now live on Crowd Supply, so that is the big call to action you want. You want people to go to the crowdfunding, which is, again, why I would have that big button on the first page. And then you've got the really technical kind of specifications here, which again helps you narrow down your audience. And then it's a really small sign up for the newsletter. I might think about having that as right below this first section here, or closer to the top as a secondary call to action. You have a buy, or hey, I want to just sign up for your newsletter. Let me know when you launch. Because you'll get those people to buy later. And so I would think about that primary, and I always tell people you can have a primary and secondary call to action on the page that people look at. And I would think about leveraging your buy as the primary, and then really focusing on the email capture as your secondary here, because you want people to go to your crowdfunding site, but then you want people to, you also want to start getting a list of email addresses. So assuming your crowdfunding campaign is successful, then you also want people to join your tribe and purchase later. Izzy, I can tell you've been scrolling up and down the page, so maybe you've got some additional comments.
Well, actually, I was just grabbing a couple screenshots, but I really like how the page is simple. I like how it just super clearly explains control anything from your smartphone. You really don't need much more information than that. I'm not sure about the screen grab. I somewhat kind of like this screen grab. Obviously, it's worth testing out. But I think well, I mean, it doesn't fully explain what it is, but it informs me enough so that I know that this is something probably for developers, and here it just basically confirms that. So I really like the page. What I would probably do, I would probably, well, like Josh said, I would make the buy now button more obvious, and I was actually thinking that I would hide this available on the App Store button until after people signed up. But you also want them to be downloading the app because people want to get a taste of what they're going to be in for before purchasing through the Kickstarter campaign or through the crowdfunding campaign. But what I would probably do is just make the App Store button a little smaller and the CT larger. So just swap the sizes. I like the page. The page is very, very simple. I'm sure during the write-up I'll find another thing or two to critique, but Josh has some good points. Trying to get people signed up to your newsletter as well, and trying to get engagement through email.
All right. So I'm gonna let Izzy get first grab of the next couple because I've been taking them. But let's go with comaker.com.
Okay.
So they're live on the chat as well, and they submitted the page. So it was 3D printing wow from the chat. Says, hi, can you critique my site comaker.com?
Sure thing. Okay. So you should be seeing comaker.com. So right off the bat, there's a couple things that I'm gonna critique. Hopefully it'll be okay with you guys. Looking at the logo here, the logo image first off seems to be of subpar quality. The red is somewhat. You probably can't see it too much. I'll zoom in. You can see that the red gets a little fuzzy. It's not like a sharp logo. I think logos really need to be, you know, since it's what your brand is. I mean, it says this is us. It should be the most professional logo possible. Even on Fiverr, you can get a really good professional logo done for a reasonable price. Obviously, the quality is not going to be as good as if you have your own designer or if you hire your own designer. But looking at the logo, the quality, like I said, it's not that great. It needs to be transparent as well. See how it's white on the semi-transparent box background. So I think that the logo needs to be transparent. Looking at the rest of the page, the background image, I really like the background image because it's clear that this is for makers and is for the 3D printing community. But well, it's only obvious to them. That's why I like it, because normal people, I guess like you and I, Josh, because I'm not really too much into the 3D printing community, but I do know that this is that these are the objects that you can produce with that. So I like the image. A crowdfunding community for 3D designers and makers. Well, okay, a group of makers pay a designer to create and privately share 3D printer files for. Okay, so that's kind of awesome. I would make the benefit a little bit more obvious as well, because co-maker kind of makes sense that it's a crowdfunding community, but I had to kind of read it once and then kind of read it a second time to understand that this is actually for crowdsourcing your 3D printing. So it's probably going to take a little bit more of explanation on the page and making.
Yeah, I was gonna say I agree, Izzy, that the copy does a good job of in the first line explaining what, with the crowdfunding community, but the benefits are lacking in terms of why you should join this community or why you need to be a part of it. So I would maybe make the what stand out a little bit more in a larger font, more bold, and then take this next approach of the rework this copy a little bit in terms of the benefits. So I agree with that.
Okay, and looking here at this, let us notify you when we launch. All right, and let's see what happens if I type in my email address. Also, I'm not so crazy about this call to action button. I do like the fact that it doesn't say submit. Submit is a conversion killer, but I like the fact that it says go. Maybe just labeling it as part of the action being taken. So like I'm not sure what part of the action would be, but tying it in with the benefits here, with additional copy benefits that you could be adding in the future. Let's see what happens if I
What I would do,
go.
Izzy, is think about that call to action. I see a lot of people do this where they say, "Let us notify you when we launch," and I actually think that's really bad these days. It maybe used to be acceptable a few years ago with launch pages and a reasonable way to get people to sign up, but it's not a great incentive, and it's also generally a bad strategy. So let's say you follow that to the letter, and you don't contact somebody. Somebody signs up. 6 months go by, you send them an email saying, "Hey, we launched our community." Most people are not going to be thinking about their business every day, your business every day, and so they're going to say, "Well, what is this?" And they're going to delete it. Um, but if you give them a real reason there, then and you're following up along every other week about the process, about the community, about what's going on. Then you're creating more engagement. So when you do launch it, they'll say, "Oh, I remember these guys. I read 2 or 3 of their emails. Sure, I'm going to go sign up." And that's a much better strategy. So I wouldn't advertise your strategy as we're not going to contact you for 6 months until we launch. I would actually focus before you get to Izzy's on the thank you message. I would focus on what's your incentive for signing up. Are you getting, are we letting people, design things faster? Are you going to give them access before other people? Are you going to give them 3D printing tips along the way? Are you going to give them your reviews of the top 3 3D printers? Like something that is tangibly usable today as an instant incentive. And then I would think about your content and your engagement strategy after somebody signs up. Is how are you, besides delivering that first incentive, what are you going to do next? And I think that's what Izzy was starting to get to with his look at the thank you screen. So I'll let him go back to Izzy now.
Exactly, Josh. Thanks for that. That was exactly going to be my point. Well, my next comment, which was including an incentive on the page, because here I'm just saying that it's a basic Kickoff Labs message. Well, the Kickoff Labs thank you screen. Obviously, you're going to get the personal referral link, which is beneficial. You're going to get 35% more sharing. That's what we see across the board by just including these social share buttons here. But you're really going to get more people sharing if you're giving them some kind of immediate incentive, something, that instant gratification. That's what people need. So we just see so many companies launching, and it's kind of just an ambiguous date. Launch. When are you going to launch? Like Josh said, some companies don't launch until 6 months later and don't even send one update email throughout that entire time. So you need to make sure that your image is branded, literally branded into your customers' minds. So that's what you want, and start doing that from an early point by using content, free content preferably, to get into their brains and to just make sure that your company is top of mind. So we're looking at Northwood project.
Yeah, I would go with the Northwood folks next.
All right, Josh, how about we just try to do it together? Let's see if that works out.
Okay. So the 2 things. A couple things right away. When I saw the page, I saw the woman, and I did see the kind of funky glasses here. Although and she's looking at the sign-up form, so her gaze is going diagonally. And you can't see my mouse generally on the screen sharing, but she's looking straight at sort of this location over here on the page. And I think for a desktop view, that's a great thing. I showed it earlier with the video map. The first thing I'll mention, then I'll hand it over to Izzy, is I actually didn't know what the page was when I read all this copy, because what you guys are really doing is embedded in the logo in small print. It says Wood Glasses Company. My guess is that you guys sell handcrafted wood glasses that look like this, and that is actually what you're selling. That just wasn't obvious to me. Izzy?
I was actually going to comment a little bit about the logo just being a little bit too large, in my opinion. I I I think that the logo is a little bit too large. Maybe they do need to just put like a big old headline or a big old tagline that says quality wood glasses, or like wood glasses co, or just do something that it's much more obvious. But I think,
Yeah, it could be in the first line of copy. I mean, it says ditching plastic for local sustainable wood since, like, right now. I mean, it could even just
it doesn't
be,
really tell
glasses
kind of,
made from ditching plastic for local sustainable wood for glasses since right
boom.
now, and even that would make it more obvious.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you could lower the size of the image. Really, right now the logo image, like as he said, takes up a lot of the page, and it pushes the call to action far down. And there's a great incentive, like you're entering to win, win this contest, and you could win a pair for free. But it's hard to get there because you have to. All the copy pushes everything down right now.
But I would actually say how many pairs are available to win too, because if you're just saying sign up for your chance to win, I mean, what if they're giving away 100 pairs? What if they're giving away 10? Just I would actually make that information available on the page, because numbers actually get people to take action a little bit faster. If you could use the idea of scarcity and of exclusivity, so to just make it like okay, so only 100 people are gonna get these glasses, only 10 people are gonna win these glasses. So make that obvious on the page. That's something I would also do for contests.
Yeah, I think that's a good point for the contest. Is to think about the number and adding where it was. A good thing that was one thing that is really good here, and I remember because I actually added this on the page earlier this week for them, was this enter to win by. So having that deadline does give people a note saying, hey, we need to get it by this date. I would just think about, if you had a smaller version of the logo, maybe just the Northwood with the nice font up top that pushes it up, and then the explanation of exactly what your product is, rather than leading with the benefits first. I would just say exactly what it is, then the benefit, then we're giving away X free pairs if you do the following: like us and add your email address. So now if I add the email address. All right, so there is a custom incentive, so don't leave your friends behind. Share a unique link via email, Facebook, or Twitter, and get free product when five friends sign up. And so that's a great incentive that you have here. So none of my friends have signed up yet, but you've got a great reason for people to sign up. And then I'll assume that the email you send out also seconds that and says, hey, you signed up, you're now entered to win. But if you want to guarantee that you get something free from us, get 5 people to sign up, and we'll give you free product, or we're giving away 100 pairs to the first people who get 5 friends to sign up. I would make sure you second that in the email that goes out to folks afterwards. Izzy?
Yeah, sure. Well, just one last comment I was going to have on the page, and I wanted to get your feedback too. what I would probably do on this page, and I wouldn't do it on all landing pages, only on certain, So this is a special case. I would link up the logo image to your home page just so people could get more information. If you do have like a product page, I would link up that here just so people can click and get a little bit more information, like I said. But I wouldn't do that on just about any kind of landing page. It's a special case for this one. And we're just about winding down for time, Josh.
Yeah, I don't think we have time to really fairly start another review. I
Hmm.
know there was a couple people that were on the chat that submitted their pages, and we'll do this again. There's not going to be a chat next Thursday, but there'll be a chat in 2 weeks. We'll have a topic for that chat. So I believe Izzy's going to be talking about launching crowdfunding campaigns.
And that's
Um,
awesome because actually, well, I mean, we're seeing a lot of customers starting to jump into that crowdfunding space. Uh, and and just now, I mean, we saw one or two pages that were directing people to their crowdfunding and Kickstarter campaigns. So I think it's an important topic, and I would love to get feedback from our audience to see if it's something that they'd like to hear and read about and have us present.
Yep. And again, and then we'll have a chat in 2 weeks about the crowdfunding and best practices for having launch pages before you crowdfund and why that's important. The thing I'll say for other reviews is then in 3 weeks, then we'll be back and we'll do another review series. So if you didn't get a review today, if you submit it, we'll be doing reviews again in 3 weeks. And then my pitch is that if you join Kickoff Labs premium membership, we'll actually do a private review of your page if you'd like. So one of the benefits of getting on board with Kickoff Labs, of getting on board with our service, is that we will, for any paying customers, we just offer that. We'll take a look at your page. We'll give you our feedback. Our goal is to make it quick and easy for you to grow your audience. And one of the ways that we do that is not just through the technology, because anybody could duplicate technology, but we want to actually help you. We want to actually give you the feedback, give you the 2 cents in a more detailed way than we have time for on these chats. I believe the chats are helpful, and I thank everyone for coming and submitting their pages for public scrutiny. But if you'd like some more feedback and you want to get us on your page, then we can certainly help you create better landing pages and give you our 2 cents more personally with a purchase of the product. So thanks again for coming, and thanks for everybody for the reviews. And we'll see you. Enjoy the holiday, and we'll see you in 2 weeks with Izzy's chat on proper crowdfunding launches.